festival. You are listening to SGFR, podcast radio for the festival. Now broadcasting highlights and top picks, your tasty, tantalizing tease for this coming year.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you for joining me here in the interview suite for the Strange Games Festival radio podcast thingy. Yeah, that started well, didn't it?
I like the use of the word thingy.
Thingy, I like thingy. It's so good to have you guys here. Look, we're going to do just whatever, I don't know, some sort of opening up the podcast, make some buzz about the festival, that sort of thing. Although no one knows it, at the end of this, I'm going to mysteriously invite James Benison to be a constant host on all the recording sessions. He knows it. We've pre-planned it, but none of the listeners know it.
Oh. What an awful surprise.
Yeah, I know. I'm really saying it up front so that no one gets shocked by it because, as per Terry Pratchett, no, sorry, it's Douglas Adams, isn't it? As per Douglas Adams, we need to reduce the stress in people's lives, and anticipation of the unknown is a source of stress.
And
I
absolutely.
believe the nearest defibrillator to me is up the street because I might need it.
Oh, hey, we've just got a new defibrillator. I can't say that word. Defibrillator. We've got a new heart machine installed up the road here as well, so we could race to it.
You guys are really showing your age here.
You bastard. You utter bastard.
utter bastard. Yeah.
Always acutely aware of where the nearest defibrillator is.
It's useful, isn't it?
Don't you want to save a life? Hi, I'm James Benison, and I don't care. People can die. I don't care. Preferably die of laughing.
No, I genuinely, it's a true story. Just for you guys, I told a joke once at it was like a sales meeting that I was part of, and all of us were eating steak. And I told a joke that was so funny that we had to call an ambulance because the guy sat next to me started choking on the steak.
Excellent.
On the steak that you were telling me to choke about.
Yeah, and genuinely, and it kills me to this day. I cannot, for the life of me, remember what that joke was.
Oh no!
But did you spot the guy watching carefully?
He survived. I just want to make that very clear.
Because he was on a stakeout.
That's very good. That's very good. Was it a vegan by any chance? Because veganism is a great mistake.
I think he is now.
Oh dear.
Oh, Laura! Everybody, we've got a Laura here. Did you hear that? She said, oh dear. And that's probably the full extent of Laura's contribution, by the way, because I know she was a dirty, dirty stop out last night.
Don't know what you're on about.
It was fun, though.
Indeed.
The mind boggles.
Yeah. Simon, shall we start with you?
Yes.
Right.
Let's do it.
So obviously, I'm talking to the amazing Simon, who is listed as organizer and instigator of the original Strange Games Festival thing. At least that's how I think of you. And you are going to launch another semi-festival in July.
Yeah.
In Bushywood. Yeah, at the Activity Centre. What is it, and what's the thinking behind it?
Well, first off, let me correct you. We don't meet in a field near Howsham. We meet in a lovely wooded campsite near Howsham, just saying. We have been running the festival now for, Laura, 8 years, 10 years? Something.
2016 was the first one, I think.
Ooh.
And there's been more demand every year and more people come. And we've reached a point where there's a lot of people trying to get tickets to come to the festival, and they can't come because we're full by the time we get to the festival. And in fact, even on the first day, the tickets go on sale, as we've all experienced. It's embarrassingly a bit of a Glastonbury experience because the website tends to fall over in the first 20 minutes as too many people try to buy tickets. So we wanted to find a way to enable more people to enjoy what Strange Games is about. We know that it's about having fun, board gaming, with a really cool, chilled group of people. And we know that people love the site we're at. It really works for us. And Mark, the site manager, is just an awesome guy. So we managed to get the opportunity to run on another weekend. So we decided to try out the Strange Games Campout, which is the Strange Games Festival, but smaller.
Ooh.
Yes. Smaller and cozier, less organised events, more do your own thing. We'll provide a fun sandbox. The board game library, the Epic board game library will be there. We'll have all the tables and chairs and shelters. We'll have ways to go and play RPGs together, which I think James might be able to talk about.
Yeah. Better than talking to anyone else.
I'll talk to someone, yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, James might be able to talk about that. We're going to have the RPG Glade that we had last year at the festival with a rather handsome new host, actually, who might happen to be on this podcast, James. Yes, sorry, you.
Wait, what?
And then Social Deduction Glade and the board games area. And those will just be a very light touch, steering you towards the games that are available in each of those. So the campout will be smaller, cozier, fun, the same inclusive vibe, and we hope everyone will have a great time. And
I look forward to it. Sorry, carry on.
You can come to one or both or neither if you don't like us.
Yeah, true. Eloquently put. Now, I'm interested in the differences, and that's something that I like to focus in on, if that's okay, because the very first Strange Games Festival I came to was only about 160 or so, 180 people over in the old venue of Lodge Hill. And it was very much that sandbox thing with people happy to bring their own games and a Strange Games Festival library that wasn't quite as developed.
I'm not sure we even had a library then, did we, Laura?
No, it was entirely everyone just brought their games and put them on a pile, but it looked a bit library-ish, so
Yeah.
that's probably what you're remembering.
It worked really well, though, and there was such a generosity of spirit. And being so few people, you really got to know folks, I felt.
Can I ask, because I've heard a story from many different people and the rumours, the legend, but what was the first Strange Games like, Simon? Like, how did it come about?
Well, it wasn't even called Strange Games. So the first sort of get-together was, I think the first time there were about 20 people who played Werewolf at the time, got together in a field, camped for a night, had a great time. And then the second one was in a field. It was organised by the awesome Matt and I. Matt is now not involved. He arranged the first camp at Wilderness Wood. The second meet-up was in a field, was about 40 people, all about werewolf still, and we ran a epic 40-person werewolf game with 2 villages, and it ran all night.
Wow.
I was lucky, I think, and I died early, or was killed early and was out. So I got to sleep a bit. The third meet-up was Matt and I said, let's do this properly. So we went to a beautiful venue called Wilderness Wood, and there was, I want to say, 60-ish people the first time. Mainly werewolf, but I invited a few board gamers to come along. At this point, it was still just a group of friends, really. The following year, Matt stepped down. He didn't want to be involved in organising, just enjoying the camp.
Yeah.
And we had about 120 people who came, doubled in size, and we gave it a name. So I called it the Wilderness Festival because it was at Wilderness Wood and I never thought it would go anywhere, and it didn't occur to me that it was the same name as a big music festival.
I was going to say you'll be some very confused people there.
Yeah, luckily we didn't. And that was awesome. I remember one key thing that was fun was we played Killer, which is a sort of pervasive game where everyone has a target and everyone has someone targeting them, and it goes on in the background all weekend.
Correct. Wow, yeah.
And I remember it mainly because people took it way too seriously, and we had to stop it for the following ones because people were getting ambushed in the food queues and all sorts. But yeah, that was great. And then we moved on for a couple of years to Lodge Hill, which is a camp over near Pulborough. That was more of a field. We now had a permanent marquee and a little lodge sort of room that we ran. Daryl actually ran a sort of murder mystery in. We were still at this point, I think, because we'd left Wilderness Wood, I needed a new name for the festival. And I wasn't very good at coming up with a name. So I just...
You should have gone for Glastonbury Festival.
Well, yeah. That
really
would have been a
confuse
good
people.
idea. Or Burning Man.
Yeah.
That
Damn
sounds
it,
good.
I made a mistake there. Anyway,
Everyone thinks that it's kind of like a cult kind of vibe anyway. We could have got a giant wicker man in the middle of Bushy Wood and burnt it.
Laura,
Yes.
what do you reckon to that idea?
We can make it look like Simon.
Oh,
Make it a little effigy.
we go around going like penny for the Simon.
I like this idea. Anyway, yeah, casting
Well
around
done.
for a name, I just
Yes.
grabbed my gaming handle because it sort of fit. So we became Strange Games Festival because it seemed okay. And we grew from there. We stayed at we were at Lodge Hill for 2 years. Then we moved to Bushy Wood because we'd outgrown Lodge Hill. And I think we found our kind of forever home at Bushy Wood because it's a beautiful site. It's got everything we need. We've got the indoor spaces for people to game in. We can put up marquees, everything that you're used to. And it really, having the woodland glades and the option for bigger areas to camp in, it just really works. And people can go off and be around a campfire or play werewolf or do social deduction or be in a marquee playing board games. And it doesn't feel like way too many people. And that's where we are. That's a long way to answer your question, I think, James. But
Thank you. No,
it was good though. Yeah,
Very thorough.
It was rich and also entertaining, which is really, really what Jan needs. What our listeners need to say.
I'm here till next week.
it's going to be a long podcast.
We ought to plug it because there's a chance that when this particular episode goes out, tickets may still be available. So how do people get tickets and why should they get them?
Well, firstly, if you're not on the list, you're not coming in. So, yeah, you need a ticket to come to the festival and the campout.
Mm-hmm.
You can get them from www.strangegamesfestival.co.uk. We do often sell out, due warning.
Right.
So apologies if you can't get tickets.
Queue up for the following year. But that's exciting. Oh, yes. And while I'm talking to you, dear listener, Jan, of course, and if you have anything you'd like to share or discuss here on the Strange Games Festival podcast radio channel, then do get in touch. Now, I'm not saying we're desperate for content, but, maybe we're desperate for content and it's a good laugh. So come join us. Right, plug over. Is there anything else we need to say about, in particular, the Strange Games Campout? Like, for example, why did you call it Strange Games Campout rather than Strange Games Festival Campout?
Well, in my head, I use SGC and SGF, though, yeah, it's a good way to name files. Anyway, because we don't want to confuse the festival and the campout, they may evolve to be quite different. They'll still have the same vibe and everything, I'm sure, but I would think that, the campout might have a very different identity and sort of structure over time. This is our first year, so we're trying it. Laura, do you want to add anything to that?
What was the question? I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
It's fine.
I zoned out slightly.
I don't blame you. Don't worry. You're not the only one, I promise you.
Did you want to say anything about the campout or festival? Why?
Oh, what?
Different. Why? I think that was the question, wasn't it? Difference?
It do, yeah. Difference is the key, yeah.
I like to think of the Strange Games Campout as sort of being like Strange Games Classic. It's sort of going back to the early days and being the sandbox, and then people have two different experiences. One is very freeform and self-directed, and the other one is all singing and dancing and shiny.
Yeah, a little more.
And there's different feelings for both and value for both. I think a range of different people will appreciate.
I'll be really interested to hear what people who go to both find, how they find the experience and what the difference is. I thought it was just worth clarifying that the campout will have the food vans you know and love, the bar, the board games library, the marquee. So if you imagine, for those who've been to the festival, it'll have pretty much everything the festival's got, except organised events and lots of us walking around in high vis. So you'll have just as much fun, I hope, but it'll be much more self-directed.
I should point out
Yeah.
as well that I did just Google SGC
Arcade Command. Yeah.
to see if anyone else had it, and that the number one thing is a company who deal in the authentication of trading cards. So
Yes.
there you go. It's a bit of fun.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm not using, I don't think, the name is Strange Games Festival,
Yeah.
Strange Games Campout, but it's just a useful acronym for me internally.
Unless it's trademarked, I don't think there's a monopoly on names, is there? So
No.
no, I did run a business once where we got a message from somewhere in, I think, Southern California telling us to cease and desist our operations in the south of England
dear.
because our name had 2 letters different. That was a long story and has no relevance here. Let's talk about something relevant, which are, can people rent tents like they can on the main festival? And how much is it going to set folks back to come along to this one?
So, yes, there are pre-pitched tents available. So, from our partner Tent to Hire, I think you can get the same, anything from total glamping in a bell tent with a double bed down to a very spacious, actually 5-person, their smallest tent, which is pretty luxurious for 1 person, actually. I was in one myself and really liked it. Great with a camp bed in it. And as to how much the campout is, it's £70 per adult and £35 per child. And there's tickets on sale now
Yes.
for both the festival and the campout. What we do, of course, for the festival and the campout is we hold back a small number of tickets for the new year. There won't always be many available, but that does give people a chance to get tickets who missed the opportunity.
And I'll add, if I may, always be aware that sometimes people buy these tickets and can't come through. And we have a lovely channel in the Discord that discusses that. So you may be able to pick up, for the same cost, a ticket that becomes available. And I see a fair number of those tickets transfer because I, for one, have bought tickets because I don't want to miss out. And then life happens, disgusting, icky, horrible, really infuriating life things happen and so on. So sometimes people can't follow through on those. There are ways, aren't there? You do have a chance of coming along if you've missed the first round.
Yes, the Discord is the best place, and that I've forgotten what we call the channel. I think it's Tickets Needed or something similar. It is actually called Looking for Tickets. So if you're looking for tickets or you've got some tickets to pass on to sell, then you post in that. And that usually gets pretty busy once the festival's sold out. And we've even had people getting tickets on the day of the festival last year, which seemed a bit short notice, but people who suddenly couldn't come and people who were desperate to.
Thank you, Simon. That's brilliant. And I can't commend it enough. It is a great fun thing to do.
You've been listening to SGFR, the podcast radio channel for the Strange Games Festival.
This season's hosts have been James, Laura, Andy, and Craig.
And if you'd like to come on the show, message us on the Festival Radio channel on the Strange Games Festival Discord server.